Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Quinton and today we're going to talk about the differences between automatic transmission, dual clutch transmission, AMT transmission and manual transmission. So what are the differences between all of them? Okay, so automatic gearbox is basically, everybody knows what it is. You've got a whole bunch of clutches and clutch baskets. It's got a valve body that controls it, and it is electronically controlled by TCM, transmission control module. So what it does is send signals to the valve body. It's got an oil pump, supplies oil via oil pressure to the valve body. It's got electronic solenoids in there. Selects the solenoid, opens the valves, and supplies oil pressure to the different clutches where it needs to go to select the gear ratios that it needs to select the gear, whether it's first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, reverse gear, whatever the case is. So it selects them differently. So you get like low reverse, you get 2, 5 and R, you get 3, 6, and so on, so on, so on. And you also get an underdrive and an overdrive clutch. But we can get into that in another stage because that gets very confusing. There's so many components. You also get a torque converter. It's very confusing and it's a specialized job. So we're going to talk about manual gearbox, which is this one here first. This is a standard manual gearbox that you would get on a normal car with a normal clutch pedal, shifter. You get a flywheel, which is this part here. You get a pressure plate, and you get a clutch plate and a pressure plate and a release bearing. That's your clutch basically. So what it does is when you bolt this down onto your flywheel, it locks your clutch plate to the flywheel and the pressure plate as one unit. So when you press your fingers over here, it releases your clutch so it spins freely. So that's how it works. So it works with pressing the fingers and it releases. Dual clutch transmission works opposite that. We'll get into that now. AMT is automated manual transmission. Works exactly the same as a manual transmission, just that it is automatically controlled. So some manufacturers do it differently. Some use a hydraulic system to control it, some use an electronic system to control it with actuators and electronic selectors and stuff like that. So it's manufacturer dependent. I don't really like the hydraulic units, they're a little bit troublesome. The electronic ones a lot better, a lot more reliable. But AMT in general, I don't really like them because of the way it changes gears. So it drives exactly the same as a normal manual gearbox would. So when you're changing on a normal manual gearbox, you'll have to press the clutch in with your foot, change to second gear, release the clutch, and then off you go. You accelerate. This does exactly that, but automatically. You haven't got a clutch pedal. So when you're pulling off, you accelerate, it releases the clutch, and then you start pulling off. So when it changes gears, it releases the revs automatically, presses the clutch, changes to second gear, releases the clutch, and then accelerates. So that takes a couple of seconds. So you get a bit of a lag time between each gear, which it's a bit of an uncomfortable feeling. And a lot of people are mistaken by thinking that when you buy an AMT gearbox, it's automatic. It's not. It's automated manual transmission or gearbox. It's basically a manual gearbox, just electronically controlled. So you get a big lag time. It doesn't give you a nice drop because you get a bit of a drop back fuel and then accelerate and then drop back fuel and accelerate every time it changes gears. And also it's a bit of lag time on pull off, and I don't really like them too much. My favorite ones are the DCTs. These here are a lot more sporty, gives you a lot more sporty feel, instant, seamless gear changing, like instantaneous, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, without dropping revs too much or anything like that. It's like instant, seamless gear changing. How does that work? Okay. So, it's based on the same principle as a manual gearbox, just done differently. It's got 2 sets of clutches, 2 sets of shafts, one for each clutch. The one is an odd shaft and the other one is an even shaft. The odd shaft operate your odd gears, which is your first, third, and fifth. The other one is your even shaft, which is 2, 4, and if you got 6, it operates that too. Generally, most times your odd shaft operates your reverse gear as well. We're not going to worry about the reverse gear. Okay, so we're just going to worry about the normal driving gears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll work on a 5-speed gearbox, just for example. Okay, so this here is a dual clutch assembly. So what it is, if you look in here, there's one clutch there. There's a pressure plate. Here is another clutch here. Here's another pressure plate, and in the middle is your flywheel. Your flywheel is not connected to anything. Okay? It's got a bearing on there, but it spins freely. It's not connected directly to anything. Your actual pressure plate here goes on your whole chassis over here. So both your pressure plates are connected as one unit, and then your flywheels in between. But your clutch plates are running loose between them. So as you can see here, it's one unit. You can't strip it. It's riveted together, but you can see they're loose. So it works opposite to a normal manual gearbox. A normal manual gearbox, when you tighten everything up with the bolts, it goes tight. Your clutch goes tight. You can't move it. This here, when it's together, it is loose. Okay? So your odd shaft would go through to the side here. If you look at this one here, this spline here, it's a small shaft that goes there. The other one, your even shaft, is a big shaft, which is this one here. If you can look there, you can see a spline there. That's your even shaft. If you look at the size difference, that's a small one, odd, even is big. The reason why that is because your odd shaft goes inside your even shaft, so it sits like that. So, but it spins independently from each other. So, how does this work? Works with a release spring. There's a release spring for the odd shaft and a release spring for your even shaft. Okay? So, when you want to activate and drive, what it does is it presses these fingers down here on your pressure plates. This is your odd pressure plate, which will be for that one there. This is your even one. Oh, sorry, I've got it the wrong around. This is your odd one, and that's your even one. So your odd one operates your back pressure plate, which is this one here, which locks this clutch here, which is that one there. Okay? So when you press it, it actually locks it. And that's how you get your drive. So when it changes gear, all it does is releases and then presses there. Then it goes into your even shaft. So how does it get its quick and seamless gear change? Because it's using two clutches. Also another thing to remember, it's always in two gears at the same time. When you select drive and you want to pull away, it's in selected first gear for odd shaft, and it's got second gear ready. It's already selected second gear ready to go for the even shaft. So when you're pulling off and you're driving in first gear, it's just your odd clutch working, but your even clutch is just spinning free, which is your second gear that's selected. So that's just spinning free, like it's in neutral. So when it changes over the clutches, it just whoop, instant seamless gear change. Second gear is already selected, just drop the clutch and it's in. Then it changes gear from first to third on your odd shaft. Then it changes over to your odd clutch. Then you're in third gear. Then it changes your gear from second to fourth on your even shaft. Then when it wants to change to fourth, then it just selects your even clutch, and then so on, so on, so on. So it's a very clever system. Instant gear changing, a lot better driving, it's a lot smoother. The downfall to this dry clutch system, because you get a wet clutch system in this as well. The downfall to this dry clutch system is overheating in slow traffic, especially if you're stuck on the freeway and you like in slow stop and go traffic like that, and you don't put a neutral in between the standing points, you tend to overheat your clutch. So on your instrument clutch, they'll tell you clutch plate temperature high or clutch overheating. That's because you're constantly creating friction over here, because you're constantly pulling off on your odd clutch. Now, the good point of a dry clutch system is low maintenance. It lasts long if you know how to drive with it, if you understand the concept of the difference between automatic, dual clutch transmission. This is not an automatic. This is not an automatic. An AMT is also not an automatic. Don't treat them like that, and don't expect them to be like that. They're not going to be like that. Dual clutch transmission is a lot more sporty. It's a cheaper gearbox to manufacture. It's a lot more reliable, a lot less maintenance to do on it, because it's just a basically manual gearbox. It's got manual transmission fluid, manual gearbox oil inside. Just instead of having a torque converter to drive it, or a flywheel or anything like that, it's got this here, which is your dual clutch assembly. This is a serviceable item. You can replace it. It's not that expensive. Now when we get onto wet clutches, it gets a little bit more confusing, because now they added oil pump, oil filter, different type of oil. They changed the clutch assemblies from wet to dry, so it's clutch baskets, it's got a valve body, it's a lot more components. It has to now get serviced at an interval, and it's going to cost you a lot more money in the long run. Dry clutches, a lot better, a lot cheaper to maintain, a lot cheaper to repair, a lot easier to repair, and just my opinion, my personal opinion, just a bit better. Now if you're going to go and do racing and whatnot, then yes, the wet clutches are better because of the overheating issues, because the transmission fluid cools the clutches down and it goes through an actual cooler, so it keeps the clutch temperature down, whereas this one hasn't got anything to cool it down. So just something to remember, but you don't really need a cooler for you. If you know how to drive with it, you haven't got an issue. So if you're stuck in traffic and you've got a dual clutch transmission and you come to a standstill, take it out of drive. Let your clutches just rest a bit. Because if you leave it in drive and you like pull up your handbrake and you take your foot off of the brake, it's going to try and pull off. And that means you're going to have constant friction over here, and it's going to burn your clutch out. Always your odd clutch goes first, because it's your first pulling off gear. Reverse and first. So when they overheat, then you start getting a judder on pull off. So when you pull off, you go like that. That's from overheating, because now you created hot spots on between the flywheel and the pressure plate. And that is purely because of driver error. It's not a fault of the component. It's just something to remember. Most cars, even manual gearboxes, when they start getting a clutch shudder, when you're pulling off and shakes the car like that, that is caused from human error, not a mechanical error. That is caused from human error, from overheating the clutch, from riding the clutch, mainly in traffic, or pulling off on an uphill, riding the clutch and stuff like that, overheats the clutch. So it also wears your clutch down quicker. So don't do that. If you want to cost yourself money or have to overhaul a clutch, do that. But generally, if a person knows how to drive properly with a normal manual gearbox, you'll never have to change your clutch. If a person knows how to drive properly with a dual clutch transmission, you'll never have to change it. It's human error, bad habits that everybody has got, even me, and it's something that's very hard to get out of everybody. But yeah, that's why automatic transmission, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's a lot more expensive, puts a bigger price tag on the car. If that's the type of thing you're looking for on the car you buy, make sure that you're actually getting an automatic transmission and not an AMT or DCT. If that's the type of thing you're looking for, make sure that's what you're buying. If a salesman tells you it's automatic, no. No. Check for yourself. Make sure. Always double check for yourself. Is it actually a manual transmission, or is it an AMT or a DCT? Because you don't want to purchase a car and it's not suited to what you want. If a person likes a driving style of a performance car, like a turbo car that's got a lot more horsepower and got snappy gear change, and you go for a DCT. If you're not worried about any of that and you just want comfortable driving without a clutch or anything, like you're looking for automatic, then buy an actual automatic. If you like driving with a normal manual gearbox, then do that. But budget autos are basically the cheaper version cars, like the cheapest of the cheap, that's an automatic nowadays, which is an AMT. It's not an automatic. Just something for people to remember. It's automated manual transmission. It's a normal manual gearbox, just automatically controlled, not an automatic transmission. So that is something a lot of people don't understand, and it's something that's important. If you're going to buy a car, whether it be second-hand or new, you have to understand the differences between automatic, DCT, AMT, and normal manual gearbox. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to know the difference, what the driving differences are. If that's the type of thing you're looking for, then go for it. If you want something snappy and sporty, go for the DCT. If you want a budget auto, get an AMT. Otherwise, just buy a manual gearbox and get done with it. Yeah, that's going to come to a conclusion of the video. I'm going to get a little bit more into it one of the days. I'm going to actually open this up and we're going to have a proper look inside, and I'll get a lot more in depth into explanation of exactly how this works. But you just got a basic idea of how it works with the two clutches and the two pressure plates, two release bearings, automatically controlled with actuators and stuff like that. But it's a manual gearbox at the end of the day. So, if you like my video, please subscribe to my channel. I hope you found this information helpful. All the subscriptions are free. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave comments or ask questions. I'll get back to you on that. I am very knowledgeable about the DCTs and stuff like that. I'm not an expert, but I'll try my best to answer your questions or give you a better video of what you are looking for. If you're looking for a specific thing, if you want a better understanding, if you want more technical information on it, I can do a much more technical video. So let me know what you want and I'll definitely do it. This is for you, the viewers, to give you more knowledge, more insights, and also to give you a bit of entertainment. So please like and subscribe. Subscriptions are free. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.